Happy Tuesday. You are listening to Real Talk with Karen Stacy live on MiamiMikeRadio.com. And I'm a little disheveled today. I'm not going to lie. I've had, this is a tough week for me. I mean, they were all tough, but this one's especially. Actually, tonight I want to dedicate my show to my late husband. On Friday, it will be the 5-year, I don't know, what am I supposed to say, anniversary of his passing. So, needless to say, I'm sure everybody out there has lost people. And, it always sucks when these times come around. And I'm not going to, I was struggling to get through to do today's show, to be quite honest with you, because, my heart hurts. But, I sometimes when I come on and I do the show, I feel better. And I also feel better when I keep it real. I keep it as real as I can. This is me. I'm as transparent as they come. And I know sometimes a lot of people don't want to hear it. Everybody wants to think everybody's like happy-go-lucky and the world is great. And, and for the most part, right, it is great. And we love the world. Not really. Everybody you talk to has a story, and it just seems to be getting harder and harder. As I speak to people, it's amazing to me. I am fortunate in the sense that, people like to talk to me. They tell me their life story, and such. And even with the show, I get a lot of people that contact me asking me for advice. And, sometimes I'm like, I'm flattered, but, I'm not a doctor. I just play one on the radio. So, I want to give you good advice, and I think I do give pretty good advice. But, again, it's just advice. It's my opinion. It's things that I've been through. So, I kind of use those things as a guide, if you will, to try to help people along on their journeys. So, anyway, I am dedicating tonight's show to my Joey. I know that he's doing better, someplace else than here, right? Because here is tough. If you talk to people, anybody you talk to, I really commend the people that say well, my husband always used to say life is good. And you know what? It's as good as we can make it, right? Because there's always something that's going to, throw a monkey wrench into our world. But, I speak to people that have lost parents and everything, and and you're just never the same. And, it's understandable. And, I do appreciate people sharing with me their feelings. Everybody goes through things differently. So sometimes you can have someone that looks at something a different way than you, and maybe it will help you in the long run. I don't really know. But I figured tonight I wasn't sure what I was going to do tonight, actually. And I fought, like I said, really hard to do this show tonight. My stomach, I'm a little nauseous right now, to be honest with you. And I was like, I don't know. I was going back and forth. Can I do this? Can I do this? And I am the type of person that I commit to something, and therefore I do it. So I have committed to Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. on MiamiMikeRadio.com, and that is when Real Talk is on, and that is what I'm here for, because that's me. So if I didn't do the show tonight, I would probably have felt guilty not to. So I'm not going to bore you, and I'm not going to make anybody sad. That's not the point here. I'm just dedicating the show to my husband, my late husband. I figured I would do like a little bit, I'm not even going to say like a rant, but I used to do rants when I first was doing the show, and I had fun with that, because anybody that knows me knows that once I start talking, I go off on a tangent. So, I actually had touched base with my girlfriend, Mary, who has been on the show before, and she's available to talk. So she's going to call. She couldn't come live to do the show because she's being a super nanny right now to her grandchildren. But she, we're going to give them Benadryl. So by 8:15, she could call in. No, I'm only kidding. That's only a joke. And so we're going to talk, but like I said, I have all these things that come to mind when I'm like, oh, I got to do a show about that. Oh, I got to do a show about that. And I don't want to be redundant because so many things are really pertinent and the topics are just explosive because there's always something to talk about. I mean, for instance, my dating stuff. There is always something to talk about, and there's always someone that's going to talk about it from a different perspective than ourselves. So I'm like, who am I going to get in? So now I have somebody that is going to probably be on. I have to touch base with him. I didn't get a chance to talk to him today. That's a surprise. So next week, I have Beth Acasello, who is like the mayor of New Rochelle. She's a pisser. So we're going to talk about a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And then the following week, super cool, I have Terry. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. She is a medium and she wrote a book. I don't have her bio information yet. It's literally a friend told me about her and she's promoting her book. And then another girlfriend that I was talking to who again, lost her brother, just the same way, just a tragic, one, both gone. And she was telling me how this woman was so instrumental in helping her and her mom and her sister-in-law to get through the loss. So it was really strange because two people were reaching out to me about the same person. So I think that probably my late husband probably has a lot to say because he keeps telling me, pushing these people in front of me, telling me I got to talk to this lady. And also, I think that she will be able to help you guys out there. So when I spoke to her today, she was saying that I know she has the book and she was going to offer everybody 10% off of a reading if they got it, if they booked it by August 31st. So I think that's pretty cool and I'm excited for that. And to be honest with you, I may actually take the last 2 weeks of August off so that I can enjoy the last 2 weeks with my little man and not have to make him end his day early because Tuesdays mommy's got to do her show. So I may consider a little summer vacation from my show, but of course I would miss you all terribly. But that's the game plan thus far. So I know you guys are on here commenting, and I'm going to look now. Sorry, I'm telling you guys, I don't know about you, but the whole eyesight thing is just crazy. I don't know what goes on. I mean, now I can't see close, I can't see far. I got to take them off, I got to put them on. I don't know. Thank you for the hugs, Lydia. I appreciate it. Hey, Christine, how are you? Greetings from Florida. Oh my God. Can I just tell you that it's 70 gabillion degrees in New York? It's crazy. It's really crazy. And by the way, what the hell happened to summer? I just looked today at the calendar, which I should never do. And I just realized that Labor Day weekend is in August. It's August 30th. I mean, the kids go back to school that Tuesday, I want to say. I mean, that's insane in the membrane. I just remember saying to my son, oh, we're almost at summer. We're almost at summer. We're almost there. And then yelling at him, he's got to do a book report, and then he's got to do another book report. And then all of a sudden, Thursday is going to be August 1st. And literally on the 30th is the Labor Day weekend. And poof, we're back to September, crap weather, back to school, back to waking up at the crack of dawn. Ay. I just don't know how it happened. Prayers and hugs for this difficult. Thank you, April. I appreciate it. Oh, you guys are safe. Mary's actually calling now. I guess that she might have actually gotten the kids to sleep faster than she thought. Mary, did you get them to sleep?
Yes, I have. Well, I have help, so I have Nikki taking care of them.
Oh.
So it's all good.
Okay. I need to hear you better, though.
Okay. How do you think I can do that? Is this better?
I don't know. Let's see. Yeah,
All right.
say something.
Any
Testing. Testing.
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Testing. Guys, how are you hearing Mary? Give me some feedback on how Mary sounds. I mean, you sound okay in my mic, but let me see if I can give you more mic. All right.
Is that big mic that's there?
Yeah, exactly. That's my friend. All right.
It's your weekend buddy.
Yes, yeah, exactly. All right. I was just, give me 1 second, Mary, because I was actually reading some of the comments. Yeah, thank you, Lydia. I was saying that I might take a break for 2 weeks in August, so they were telling me, they were giving me prayers. All right, so I think I saw all the comments, even though, because Karen can't see nothing anymore. All right, so Mary, how the hell are you?
I'm great, Karen. How are you? I haven't seen you in so long.
I know. It's crazy. So Mary, for any of you that have heard my show before, Mary is she's a fitness instructor. I take her spin class, and I also take her kickboxing class. So we have become like the coffee clutch, and we work out, and then we go and drink coffee and yip yap. And so I haven't seen her since the middle of June, because once my kid is off of school, I don't go to the gym, so I'm just a lazy butt. So I know I see all your posts, and you're like, you're doing like 16 classes a day now.
Oh
what are you doing?
July is just about killing me, that's for sure. I just said I would cover everybody's classes in July. So that's what I did. This is my last week of insanity.
You are out of your mind.
Ooh, it's not been easy. I can promise you that.
I can imagine. I mean, I'm exhausted sitting on my ass watching your posts.
If only fitness worked that way, you could do it virtually, right?
You ain't kidding. If only it did. It's true. I really, I wish that was the case. But you know what? In all fairness to myself, and this is what I tell myself, I mean, I'm there, I'm a diehard, and I do it all year. So I allow myself, the summer, and I don't make myself feel too guilty about it.
No, you'll be back. Listen, the summer's almost over.
That's what I was just saying when you were calling, is that the kids, August 30th is Labor Day weekend. How did this happen?
Oh, I know. Labor Day is so early. September, 2nd or something.
No, it's the 30th is the weekend. But yeah, like the actual, that Monday, yes, is like I don't even think it is. I want to say it's like the 1st, and the kids go back on the 2nd, or at least I think that's when my kid is supposed to go back.
I think they go back right after the 2nd or whatever. I don't even know, but
it's insane in the membrane. I just can't fathom it. So in another month, we're gonna be having coffee clutch time again.
Yay! I can't wait, Karen. Our first one will be September 10th.
I know. Well, no, it'll be. Oh, right, because we do it on the Monday. That's true. Probably will be. I can't believe how fast the summer has gone. What have you been doing for the summer? Besides teaching 67 classes a day.
That's about what I'm doing. I'm teaching, and then it's been, and then of course I have my dog that I love to go out with, and that's it. I've been swimming a lot. It's great. I'm not really a summer person. I don't enjoy the summer as much as I enjoy the fall and the spring. I need the weather to just be a little bit cooler.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I hate, you and me both, we hate to be hot like that. I don't mind sweating when I'm working out, but if I'm just sitting down, I don't appreciate sweating.
Right, you don't want to be sweating in the shower.
Right. Right. It's like I go in the pool and I'm I'm still hot in the pool. I just don't get this. This has been a bitch of a summer in New York. I don't know what it's like anywhere else. But we've been it's like as if somebody just took an iron and just held it on top of you. I mean, that's what it feels like when you walk outside.
It's freaking awful.
I know, it is crazy. And don't get me wrong, I love, My full-time job in the summer is I got to work on my tan. So, I mean, that's my job, and I got very serious about it, but it's not easy to work on your tan when you're sweating your bahoobies off, because it's so hot, I mean, come on now. I think Mother Nature, it was so funny. I said this the other day, and I laughed. I said, I think Mother Nature, because, the weather's been so crazy, and these crazy storms and everything, you're driving, and all of a sudden, the world opens up. I mean, there was hail all over. My son was like, what is that noise? I'm like, it's hail. I know, and he's like, Mom, it's the middle of the summer. How could it be hail? And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, this is what's going on. And I said to somebody, Mother Nature needs a boyfriend. So you know what? And I was trying to be nice because it was a PG-13 crowd. So she goes, I don't know about that, Karen. She goes, if Mother Nature gets a boyfriend, things might get even worse because that's not going to give her any type of stability. I was like... I started to laugh. I said, well, I think she just needs to get laid. She was like, well, I understood what you meant. But when you said it like that, if adding a boyfriend might make her more crazy. And I was like, that's a very good point. Maybe we should go for like CBD oil because that's what I'm shooting for.
Oh, yeah. See how that goes, right?
Let's shoot for that. I don't know. I can't say for sure. But you guys are listening to Real Talk with Karen Stacy live on MiamiMikeRadio.com. And I have my dear friend and my fitness instructor, Mary, on the phone right now. And she has, how many grandkids are sleeping in your house right now?
3.
3. So she has 3 little ones. And how old are they again?
10, 5, and almost 4.
10, 5, and 3. So this poor woman had to get them to bed in order to call in, so we could start, yip-yapping. And it was, I appreciate it. I know you went out to you did a lot in the past 3 hours. You went out to dinner.
Yes.
What did you did like 3 things before they went to bed. How the hell did you do that?
I'm seasoned.
I bet. I mean, I need to learn from you because I don't know that I can do it right.
I get these things done, that has to happen.
Got to get it done. Got to keep it moving, Mama. I hear you.
It.
Well, that's why you motivate us all, right? Because you just
right.
You keep it going, and that's the name of the beast. So I was telling you that today I wanted to talk about like social media, and
let's do it.
Yeah.
Oh, Karen, I have so much to talk about.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So, I just got to start like probing a little bit, and then all the heavens will pour through.
Oh, I know.
So
I'm trying to like tune into the page so I can see what people are writing.
Oh, yeah, that's good because I can't read a goddamn thing whether I have my glasses
I
on.
have my glasses on too, Karen.
Yeah, hi, everybody that's saying hi on Facebook Live. I can't freaking see. I know, but I got my glasses on. I got them off. I can't freaking see. So what could I tell you? Anyway, so I put something up. I mean, first of all, we could do, this is like a Seinfeld episode. I could do a whole show on nothing. Because if you do a show on social media, you could do a show on nothing. Because if you just, for me personally, if you just scroll on Facebook, just that alone is an entire show.
Oh my God, you're so right. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, good. Because I had to mute the Facebook page, and I wasn't sure if that would mute my phone.
Yes, we're still here.
2 things at once here.
That goddamn technical difficulty shit. I know.
Luckily, it didn't happen that way, Karen. So I can read all of these messages as we go along.
That's
great.
Where
do we start with social media?
All right. Well, so I have like a lot to start with. So let's start with. This was something I posted. I posted something like a week ago, and it was just something that struck me. And my post said, is it, I don't have it verbatim right now, but like, is it appropriate or like, is it okay for men to post shirtless pictures and for women to post bikini pics? So I guess some people feel that, it's a little bit too much. Some people feel maybe it's not appropriate. Some people, a lot of the responses I got was, who cares? Post whatever the hell you want to post. So I'm just curious, because now I have the audience here and I have you. So what do you think when you're scrolling through Facebook? Now, you're a married woman. So you're scrolling through Facebook and you see a guy with a shirtless pic. What's your thought?
So let's just first say, is he hot? if he's got like a nice six-pack and a tan, well, I'm definitely going to stop and look at it.
Right.
But it doesn't bother me. Honestly, it doesn't. But when people are obsessive about posting pictures of themselves on Facebook, they're really just looking for acceptance from us. They're looking for somebody to say to them, you're beautiful, you're hot, you're sexy. That's what social media does. It like reinforces this for them. Because in the real world, you're not walking around in your bikini on the street looking for someone to say, hey, hottie, what's happening, right?
Well, yeah, I guess so. Unless, of course, you're walking by a construction site, because then if you're a woman and you walk by a construction site and no one says anything to you, you got problems. You were beaten with an ugly stick, because I don't know any. Do you know anybody? Have you ever walked by a construction crew and not?
Do you know where there is one, Karen?
You know what? Not at the current moment, but I will keep my eye. I haven't, but no, seriously. Like when I was younger, like I would walk in Manhattan, or I walked a lot. Now who walks, right? We all drive. But when I used to walk, you would walk by a construction site and you got, the most attention. Like if you're insecure, there was actually an episode of that on, what's that show? The King of Queens.
Oh my God, that is my favorite, where he brought them beer.
Yes, so that they would, because she came home and she was like, why aren't, they're not like saying nothing to me. So she was trying to get them like to compliment her. And then she went home and she told her husband, Doug, like, how come I'm not attractive anymore? So now he bought them like donuts or beer, right? Beers and
beer, yeah.
And they were like, hey, mommy, and they were
right, exactly.
And then she felt good, and then she realized that he paid them to do it. But yeah, it makes me think of that.
Karen, I think that social media is going to be like the death of us, honestly, because it's just a place where people go looking for acceptance,
right?
That they're not getting. I mean, all of these pictures, some of them aren't inappropriate, but how about all the opinions posted and all of the things that people post about their private life? It's just not right.
Well, and that's and those are definitely like subjects that I want to go into with that, but I want to like just finish my thought on
your bikini pic. What do you think? Do you
yes.
like looking at those?
So what I am, yes. I mean, I do like looking at beautiful people. Like you said, if a guy got a six-pack, I am enjoying looking at it. But, again, if you're in the fitness industry, and you're advertising your six-pack, because if I work with you, I'm going to get the six-pack, then that is, then that's one thing. But, I just feel like sometimes, like if you look through, especially, if you have let's say even on a dating site or something, and you see the guy with the shirtless bathroom pic, I don't know, to me, I don't know what message that's sending out. I mean, it's nice to know that you don't have a beer belly, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like there's also...
You're forgetting the most important thing, right?
What?
Filters.
Well, I'm going to get to that too, yes. That's also on my list of things to talk about. But even with a filter, although I don't know anything about those, so if there is a filter that can give you a six-pack, somebody needs to text me that app so that I can make that happen. But what I mean is that I'm just very, I don't know what the right thing is to say, because I look at that and yes, I'm like, okay, that guy's kind of hot, but it kind of is indicative of the type of person that he is. So what I mean by that is, if there's a gentleman, let's say, for argument's sake, that, maybe a suit and tie type of guy, and again, I'm just, generalizing, the odds are, if he has a picture of his full body or something like that, it might not be like a shirtless bathroom picture. It might be, maybe he's on the beach, or maybe he's wherever, or maybe a picture from I don't know, but I just feel like sometimes when people are posting things of that nature, it sends out a different type of message, because sometimes if a guy has a shirtless pic like that, then they're just looking to hook up with you, and they're not actually looking for a relationship. Because if you got to put all your goods out there, then what is it exactly that you're looking for?
They're looking for people to tell them how good looking they are.
And you don't think that that's kind of like half selling your soul a little bit, though? I mean, I understand that.
Some people just need that reassurance. They need to feel like they're top of the world, like they're hot. And because basically when you see pictures like that, what do all the comments say? You look great, girl. You're awesome. Sexy man. Whatever. Nobody's ever saying like, dude, really, put your shirt on.
Well, you know what? You know what, though? That's not the whole truth, because I think, so many people, we all grew up, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. Very rarely are you going to get somebody that's going to post that's not appropriate. The people that feel that way are saying it, but they're just not saying it on the comments, at that moment.
Right, they never say that.
Right. So it's a hard call. Like, I feel like, okay, so me personally, right, this is my personal feeling. And I've had men come on the show and say that the way women dress speaks about them. So they try to say that you can't walk around dressed all sexy and then expect to get respect. Now, I disagree with that, because you should have respect no matter how freaking sexy you are. But I do understand, and I mean, there's someone that I've seen, I mean, I don't personally know her, but I've seen pictures, and she posts herself in a bikini quite often, and she's got a banging body. So, I mean, she obviously wants that attention, but, you're not, that's a different, you're getting different attention, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, you can't post, I mean, look, I'm in a bathing suit, they take a picture of me and my kid. I really try not to post things like that on Facebook, because I don't necessarily feel it's completely appropriate. But that's just my own personal, feeling, because again, I'm not trying to prove anything to anybody. If I want to, then I'm going to do that. But I just feel like, I don't know what it says about us, is I guess what I'm directing it at, because I don't want a man. First of all, if the man wants me now, he wants to date me now because he sees that, I got boobs and I got hips and I got this and I got that. Oh, now all of a sudden my stock went up? Like, if you don't want me for me, then if I got to put all my goods out there, then, like, what am I actually getting in return? You know what I'm trying to say, Mia?
Initially, though, Karen, I think attraction between people happens physically.
I agree with that, but...
And the same thing with the guy that told you, who thinks that you have to dress appropriately. As a woman, I happen to agree with him. I think that if you're going to go out in booty shorts and high heels and a little bra top and just get out of your house like that, you're going to get that reaction. Now, you say to yourself, well, I don't want men leering at me, then dress yourself. Because that's just the way it's going to go. So you have to be accountable for what you're doing. If you're going to wear a hot little sexy dress and you go out and you're getting, hit on by guys and you don't like that, then don't wear that hot little sexy dress because you're putting your stuff out there.
Yeah.
And you're asking for a reaction. So you have to own that a little bit.
Right. It's like me when I have a big mouth and then I say stuff and then it comes back, I mean, what you put out there comes back, right? So
you got to own it. That's all I'm saying. You got to own it.
And I agree with that.
Women aren't always victims, sometimes they need to own their crap.
I agree with that.
But a lot of times that we want to be treated equally, but in the same level, we want to say, oh, we don't want, you can't do this or say that to me because that's inappropriate.
Right.
Well, own your shit. Sorry, Karen.
That's okay.
Just own it. If you're going to go out dressed like that, then you own the reaction that you're going to get.
Yep. I agree with you.
That's the way it is.
When I was younger, I had a girlfriend that I used to go clubbing with all the time. And she had a banging body. I mean, this girl didn't do a goddamn thing. She smoking body. She had the bubble butt. She had the freaking cuts in her stomach. And I swear all I ever saw her do was eat. But she had the most banging body. And every time we went out, she always wore like this little teeny shirt and her stomach was out. And, years ago, the stomachs were out a lot more. Now, everybody's como se llama is out, but the stomachs are covered now. So, because they got skirts now that don't even cover your como se llama, right? So,
that's right.
That's a whole other story,
Karen.
right?
The cooch is out.
Yeah, the cooch is loose. But, so she used to go around like that.
You can't bend over. They
No.
have to squat down.
Oh my, I mean, they shouldn't even be doing that. They should just freeze. I mean, it's just crazy. But anyway, so when we would go out, a lot of guys would go to put their hand on her stomach. And she would get pissed off. And I'm like, Mama, you're beautiful. You got a banging belly. And they're going to want to touch it. I mean, is it right for them to touch it? Absolutely not. Because you don't touch what's not yours. But...
Correct.
But you're putting yourself out there, and that's the attention that you're going to get. So, I think that when so I guess going back to what I'm trying to say, I don't condemn anybody for it. If you got a banging body and you want to show everybody your banging body, I think there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. I give you 100%. I'm behind you, and I mean, look, you are a fitness instructor. You're making people look like that. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But what I do think is that things can be done in a tasteful manner, and I think that you have to be conscious of what you put out there because. Again, I'm going back to, let's say, a dating site or a social media site. This is what you're putting out there. So again, what are you going to get back? So that's my feeling. When I look at, if I'm looking, I mean, not that I do that, I'm not online, doing this stuff now, but if I would see somebody and they have like a shirtless bathroom pic, I'm like, okay. Because like, I don't know what that means to me. And when I see, and I don't know if, I think women do that too. I don't know because I've never looked at women's, profiles or whatever. But I just feel like, if you got to get the guy by wearing a bikini, on a dating site, isn't it better that somebody wants to talk to you or wants to meet you because they are enticed by, I know you say it's physical, but as long as the person isn't like 600 pounds, do you really have...
I also think that a lot of these pictures, Karen, are because these people are insecure. They want people to tell them they look good.
Yeah.
They're looking more so than I need a man. I think that that's very secondary. They really want the attention.
So maybe that's what I'm picking up on, and that's why, like, if I look at that, I have reservations because now I'm like, what are you putting out there? So I think that's more where, like you said, it's, and again, going back to my initial question, what message are you sending out? So if you look good and you worked hard to look a certain way and you want to show it off, go for it. right? I mean, why not? But there's always going to be, then you're going to get like, if I posted a picture of myself in a bikini and 6 guys private messaged me afterwards, why are they private messaging me? Because they saw me in a bikini and now all of a sudden my stock went up. So the pictures that you saw with me with my kid, the pictures that you saw with me out, the pictures you saw with that didn't do it, but the bikini shot is what did it. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, because people are attracted to the physicality first. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for that. I don't know. I mean, I'm not on dating sites, so I don't know what goes on over there.
Me neither.
But is it like Facebook? I mean, Facebook is out of control.
So that was the next thing that I was going to get into, actually. And you guys are listening to Real Talk with Karen Stacy live on MiamiMikeRadio.com. On the phone is my dear friend Mary. And we are talking about social media and all that, goes along with it. And so getting to that point, okay? So Facebook has become probably like a bigger pickup site than, I guess, dating sites, because I mean, I don't know if you've seen those memes going around, like, just because I accepted your friend request, doesn't mean, this isn't Tinder, this is, Facebook. And don't get me wrong, I have mixed feelings about that, because Facebook is a great way to connect with people. If you do it respectfully and it's innocently done and it's kind of, and you have this virtual introduction, if you will, right? Because usually people on your Facebook page are mutual friends or a friend of a friend of a friend, whatever. So, you kind of get this little introduction. And if people are, interested, if it is a private message, hi, how are you? Thank you for my friend request. That's great. If they start stalking you and every 5 minutes you have messages on your inbox all the time, that's a bit much now, So I don't know what your interpretation is, because, I mean, do you get hit on Facebook?
No.
Okay.
Not really.
Not really.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. Karen, it's been a long time since I'm out there in the market.
No, but I'm not saying that you are in the market.
I don't think so. I don't think so. But I don't know.
No, but
I also try very hard not to post a lot of personal stuff on Facebook, not to post a lot of pictures. I try to use it a lot for my work and things like that, because I found that so many things get misconstrued on Facebook. You might write something or put out some silly like message and somebody takes it personal.
Yes.
Whatever you write is so subjective to the person that's reading it.
Right.
And so I try to stay kind of neutral on it. And some of my friends, I actually recently just shut down my page so that no one could see what people write to me, because people are so freaking sensitive.
Wow.
And I can't deal with it anymore. So I shut it down, so you can only see what I write. This way nobody's like, oh, you're friends with this one or that one. I don't want to, I don't with it.
Well, it's just, there's no need for all that drama. I mean, seriously.
Oh, Facebook puts out a lot of drama.
Yeah.
Girl, everybody's life on Facebook is freaking awesome, right?
And that was another thing. It's so funny because you and I are cut from the same, bread here, thread. That's another thing that I had in my Rolodex here is, it's people, social media is just it's a forum, right? And we can, I keep trying to charge this thing, it keeps falling out. Social media is a forum that, people can create a fantasy in, right? I mean, basically.
I would say 90% it is fantasy land. These people are posting their beautiful life and
Yeah.
their great kids and all of these things that are going on. That's great. And if you don't really know that person, like I could say probably you have a couple hundred friends on Facebook. There are people that you know, acquaintances, but they're not really your like close friends.
Right.
You don't know a whole lot about them. So you kind of put together your story from what they're posting out there. And that could be very far from the truth, right?
Right.
And, you know, we don't, I don't do that. You don't do that. We're kind of real. So we put what's happening, and sometimes I don't even do that. I try to stay positive. We both have some dark stuff that's happened in our lives. We're not putting it all over.
Right.
We don't do it. We try to stay positive, encouraging, but still, it's weird. I just find some of the things that people write on Facebook and what they decide to put out there very, very strange.
Well, yeah, and that's the whole thing is like I've seen, you know, like you, and we know people, right? So let's just say you know, your friend Tony Ann, and, you know, obviously I'm just making this up, right? So you know Tony Ann, and you know Tony Ann has been fighting with her husband. And then all of a sudden you see a picture of Tony Ann and, or not Tony, you see a picture of a bouquet of flowers and a box of chocolate.
Right.
And it's, my husband surprised me, or my boyfriend surprised me and got me this.
My life.
Right.
And
I'm like, and I'm looking,
you're like, they're miserable.
Right. I'm looking at it going, are you kidding me?
But we see this all the freaking time.
I know.
So many people I know are posting, you know, about their perfect lives, and I personally know they're fighting with their children, they're miserable in their marriage, and you're like, why?
Right.
Why does the world have to think that your life is perfect? Just don't put your
Right, just leave it alone. Leave it alone. Don't put anything on
your
there.
business out there. You know, I don't believe in messing with the universe like that. Don't do it. Stop. Nobody cares.
I agree. Well, you know what? But that also, like, that was also part of, you know, my thoughts on social media and doing this show is, you know, it allows people to perpetrate the fraud. And so, you know, they're putting out there a fantasy world, right? So how is that healthy for our psyche to create a fantasy world that doesn't actually exist? And now you're like this facade, and besides creating this fantasy world, not only are you creating a fantasy life, but you also are creating a fantasy image. So, like, you know, I have nothing against, there are certain people, everybody's got to have a filter, everybody's got to have this, everybody has that. Look, whatever. I probably, maybe I should care more about that. I mean, I do my show, and sometimes, like today, I think I put lipstick on today. So, like, I'm saying to myself, I got nerve. Like, I'm up in the camera. I didn't even, and I know you, like, you're not, you know, you see us, we don't wear makeup. I got my eyelashes, and that's it. What are you doing over there, Mary? You're killing my ears. What do you got going on? Maya, you all right?
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. No, I'm listening to you.
No, something very loud was coming through on your end, so I wasn't sure.
Oh, no, nothing. Oh, I don't know. That's weird, Karen. There's nothing going on around me.
Oh, okay. All right. But, I mean, I think, like, there are people that take pictures, and then after they take the picture, they have to see the picture. Then they have to put the filter on the picture. Then they change your whole, but it's not like I use filters on, let's say, Instagram, and I just change maybe the lighting. Because I don't, you know, but there's what, the face, I guess it's a face app.
But listen, Karen, I know people that change the filter so that they actually look thinner, they look
I didn't know you could even do that.
Oh, yeah. There's like there's all kinds of filters. I know someone who does it all the time, and my kids kind of showed me how to see the filter, because if you look in the background, the things behind them look warped.
Oh.
As you can see, and it kind of pulls them in tight. Makes them look skinny, and I mean, and also I think, Karen, people make this fantasy world on Facebook, and then they live in that fantasy world.
Right, and so how healthy is that? Like, it was, you know,
I think social media is so unhealthy.
Funny.
I really do.
funny story. This happened. I was talking yesterday to one of my neighbors, right? And I found a picture. It was a memory on Facebook. And I was a chunker in that picture. I think it was like a year or maybe a year and change after I had my son. And I looked like somebody needed to like poke me with a pin and deflate me. Like I was just a big puffer. And I said, look at me. This is me, big. So she looks at the picture and she's like, oh, come on, it must be the angle. I'm like, it's not the angle. Look, it's seriously. I was like, I weighed a lot there. So then she goes, you know what? I used to be skinny. She's like, I'm going to show you. So she got a picture of her and her husband and she showed it to me. And she was, tinier. I mean, she has 2 kids now. We all grow up, right? So she showed the picture. She goes, well, this is what I look like in my head. And I started to laugh because I feel that way. Like when I go to the gym and I'm hitting it hard and stuff. And then, like you see you see these pictures on Facebook and there's some girl that has a tight ass and beautiful legs and cut up stomach. And you're like, yeah, that's what I look like. In my head, that's what I look like, right? So it's funny, that you say that because it's true. It's like people have this persona that they don't actually own. I mean, I don't think it's bad for you to have a good persona about yourself because if you believe, you will achieve. But it's a farce. And now you want everybody to believe that this is what you look like. If you take a picture on Snapchat, you will never look bad.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
And that's those filters, you look at them and especially if you know the person, you're like, that's them. Like, but you start to look at pictures with these filters all the time, and now in your mind's eye, that's what this person looks like. Right. And I guess
you're right.
In their eye, that's what they look like too. So that's scary-ish because now, and I'm thinking about it as I'm talking about it, I guess, like I said, in your mind's eye, if you think you look good, then maybe you're going to feel better about yourself, right? And you're going to be a happier human. So is it bad to think you look better, or are we just fooling ourselves?
Well, I mean, it's not bad to be. I think you have to be in love with the person that you are.
Good point. Right, regardless of a filter, right?
Right.
Yeah, I guess I agree with that. I'm just, I'm trying to look at it from different angles and hopefully, and try to think that we're not completely screwed as a country and a nation because of, filters. But I think that that's huge. And it's also huge because, again, in this digital world, if people are seeing you on social media or you're using these filters on dating apps and such, when you look completely different when somebody meets you, that is crazy to me. Because now how do you come through with that? Because you're perpetrating the fraud.
Right. This is why I think social media is just crazy. And this is what our kids are growing up on.
I know.
And that makes it even scarier.
I know. Well, that's the whole thing, is that
they don't, now all communication is happening via text messaging, Facebook messaging. Not so much, now Facebook has become more for like our age.
Right, we're old.
Right, exactly. And now they're doing like Instagram and Snapchat, I guess, has taken on new life, right?
Okay.
And I think that's where they're at right now. But this is how they communicate. No more talking on the phone. There's no more interaction like that.
Yeah.
It's scary.
I know.
I think it's very, very scary where we're going. With all of this technology, you think it would be good, but I think it's bad.
Well, like I say, the phones are getting smarter and the people are getting dumber.
Yeah, I mean, when we were kids, we'd go outside and play. Now the kids are inside on their phones. They're lost. You take a phone away from a kid, you might as well remove his right arm.
Yeah. Right? It's true. I yell at my son all the time because he gets stuck on like the YouTube and all that stuff. And I'm like, hello, it's time to leave the house. Oh, well, I just need 10 more minutes of this video. No. It's time to go.
Yeah, true. It's crazy. That's right. I mean, my granddaughter is 5, and she's addicted to the damn tablet.
Yep.
As soon as she comes to my house, it's the first thing she wants.
Yep.
Is my tablet. Can I have it? Can I have it? Can I have it? It's crazy.
Right. But, but now the flip side to that is it makes it easier as a parent. If you need to get something done, you give them the tablet and they're, babysat for, whatever amount of time it is that you need to cook, clean, run the errand, whatever it is that you need to do,
no,
right?
Absolutely, 100%.
So that's...
but parents are relying on these devices to become babysitters. And I get it. We're busy. We're a busy, busy world these days. But in the long run, this is going to destroy us, I think.
Well, because the problem is that communication, and this is the problem even with adults now, the breach in communication between humans is, I don't even have the right word for it. I mean, it's like mute. I mean, communication is key. And unfortunately, communication is like nil right now because you get text messages and you lose the, there's no inflection in a text message. Say that 3 times fast. And, and people, misconstrue what you're trying to say because there's no inflection. And, everything is like quick 1, 2, 3 type of thing. So nobody really talks anymore. And yes, this is how the children are growing up too. I mean, my son goes BRB. I'm like, I'm sorry, what?
Right.
Could you say the words, please? It's be right back. You don't abbreviate a word with letters. Like, that's not what you do. So, right. Yeah, I mean, and what's going to happen in another, 20 years when one of them is going to be president of the United States?
I mean, it's terrifying.
And they have to negotiate with freaking Russia and China and everything else, and they don't know how to talk. They're going to have to send emails and we're not going to get into the politics, but our own president is addicted to the social media. That's true. Well, you know what? It's the fastest way to get a message out, right? I mean, you just post it on social media. So,
But the problem is you can't take it back.
Right.
You put out a stuff and maybe the next day you rethink it. If you're drunk, social media.
Oh. Listen, I think, and I heard there's an app. There's supposed to be an app that you have to do, like you got to blow, like in order for you to use your phone, you got to do like a special code or something. And if you're drunk, I guess you don't get the code because you know how many, I mean, listen, I've talked about this on the show a couple of times. Sometimes I look at my phone the next night and I'm like, oh my God, I text this one, I text that one, oh shit, what did I say? And I'm like afraid. Right. And then I read it and I'm like, God damn it, and I'm like, shit. And, sometimes even on Facebook, like, what do? After we go out, we come home, we get in our bed, right? That's what you do at night. Now, I don't watch TV anymore. I scroll Facebook and I, check in, and that's not every single day, but, for the most part, if I'm quiet and TV's off, sometimes you'll scroll through. Normally, I just check if somebody, like tagged me or did something, if it's something I need to know. But, that's what people do now. And then you do that, especially if you were out and somebody tagged you because they took a picture of you or something. Now you start making comments. And next thing you know, like you said, you can't take it back. And that's the other thing with pictures. So, I told a story about a friend of mine many years ago that was dating somebody and they wanted like a naked pic or whatever. And I guess she sent it, but I guess without her face or whatever. And, it came back to haunt her because obviously the picture remained. And, the girl, apparently this guy had a girlfriend unbeknownst to her. She went into her phone. She found this. She went into his phone. Excuse me. Found the picture, and she took that picture and posted it on social media.
Wow.
And now my girlfriend was blasted on social media. So you can't take that back, because all it takes is one person to see that and take a snap, because everybody takes a snapshot of things now, right? So now there's a snapshot. So you could even take the post down, but somebody that saw that and was affected by it will take. I have people, you get, there's nobody you talk to that you don't get a snapshot of a conversation that they had with somebody else, right? I mean, it's just what people do now, because it's proof. It's like, here you go. This is what they said. This is what I said.
Right.
So
no, I mean, it's you could ruin. Facebook has ruined people's reputations because of what other people post, true or not true. It doesn't matter. Once you read it, you form your opinion. It's very hard to change that. And it
can become viral on top of that. So even the smallest little thing can be, amplified to something like it could be a totally innocent thing, and it can get amplified to, God knows what. I mean, even, a friend of mine, we had taken a picture together, and we were, in bathing suits or whatever. And I was like, I don't like that picture. Like, I got too much boobage going on there. That's got to come down, Like, but everybody thinks she looks good. I was like, I don't want that up there, I mean, that's just not what I want. So, I look at it like I have a child, and I have parents and in-laws and family. And, I am, although I really don't care what people think, I think image is huge. And I would never want to do something that would embarrass my child. I mean, that's what I mean when I say I try to do. And you know what? I think that, we all try to do things tastefully. We all try to do things the right way. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we screw up. Sometimes we're drunk, like you said. But once it's out there, you have to be cognizant of the fact that it can surface again. And that's the part, like you said. And I think so many, especially younger people, they don't realize that. So if they're posting things and then all of a sudden they're trying to get a job someplace, then they see, that this person was out drinking or out here or out there, it could affect them, which it shouldn't, because what you do on your private time is your private business, but it can affect you.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my God, it definitely can affect you. And when you're out, you never know. Someone's, taping you video. How many times I've been out with friends and, you see people videoing. You don't know if they're videoing what you're doing.
That's true.
So it's almost like you're never safe. Are you going to be on some viral video one day and not even know it? Now we need a whole new set of laws put into place to protect our privacy,
Well,
recently we had somebody in our gym videoing herself doing her own sort of craziness during a step class, and her video went viral. And in her video were other people in that step class. Now, no one knew she was videoing. She had the phone set up by the mirror, but she did get a bunch of people behind her. And on that viral, it actually came up on one of my group pages that I belong to. It came up in a Les Mills group page, okay? The video of our gym, Karen, and in one of my friends' classes. And there were a couple of people in that class that were a little bit overweight, but doing their very best. And that viral video, there were comments about those people keeping up with the class. Nothing about what she was doing, but like, oh, look at that plain Jane behind her. Is she going to bust up a bench? And it was so wrong, because those people had no idea they were being videoed, and now they're being ridiculed, and they don't even know it.
Well, that
That's
was
a
not.
horrible thing.
Well, she should have never done that. She should have told them, "I'm videoing this."
When the gym found out, they took action against it, but
Good.
the damage was already done.
Right.
how many videos are out there that don't go viral, but that other people are making fun of, and we could be part of that, and we have no idea.
Right. That's true. That's true. You guys are listening to Real Talk with Karen Stacy live on MiamiMikeRadio.com. On the phone with me is Mary, my dear friend Mary. She is my gym instructor and my dear friend. And we are just talking about social media and, all of everything that it can kind of... what's the word? Like everything it represents, right? Because it's filters, it's fantasy, it's the power of suggestion. Oh, here's another thing, Maya. How about this? I sometimes, as I'm scrolling through, I see posts and like you can tell this person is severely depressed.
Oh yeah.
It's like in a world, with all these people, I feel alone or whatever. And, it's really...
they're like cries for help almost.
Yeah, it is. That's what I'm saying. So, like, when you see these things, it's very disheartening because you just don't know if this person is going through something like this. And almost, it's a cry for help. And
Karen, remember we saw it on your radio show.
You're right. There was
one of your viewers was severely depressed,
and then she ended up dying.
And you did reach out to her.
I did. You're right.
In that sense, I think maybe it's good. Maybe it's good because maybe they're not comfortable saying it to your face, but they put it out there on social media, and somebody responds to it. And if one person gets helped like that,
well, then a life saved. Exactly. But
correct.
That was a very unfortunate, situation where we did kind of see that coming. But, when I look at certain people's posts, again, it's the message that you're putting out. And that's kind of, I guess, where I'm going with this whole show today. We talked about guys with shirtless pics, women in bikini photos or sexy photos or whatever the case, and again, if you own it, like you said, Maya, right? If you own it, then own it, and there's nothing wrong with it. The only thing about that is what is the message that you're sending a message out. So if you don't want the reaction, then be clear on your message is what the thing. If you're, be clear that if you're posting pictures like that you're going to get a certain amount of feedback back, and it may not be, all that you wanted it to be. But again, there's these filters, there's this fantasy life that is created on social media, and it's not really organic. It's just perpetrating the fraud.
Well, here's another interesting thing, Karen, that someone told me. I had a student, and she had a daughter who I think at the time was maybe, I want to say 11 or 12.
Okay.
And she had a phone, and she had an Instagram account.
Okay.
And this kid was upset because she wasn't getting as many likes as her friends, and this girl who was supposed to be her best friend wasn't liking her post, but was liking someone else's post, and the mom was 100% invested in this. Oh my God, how could her friend not like her post, and she only got 15 likes, and her friend got 30 likes, and I'm thinking to myself, this is an 11-year-old, and this is what they're basing their popularity on, is how many likes they're getting on a photo or a post that they put up.
Yes.
How sad is that, Karen? And this was an 11-year-old.
So
the mom was just as invested in this as the 11-year-old.
Now, well, there you go. There you go. Well, I think that I saw something that Instagram was going to do something where you wouldn't know, it's going to block the likes or something, because they did a study that stated that it was psychologically affected people if they didn't get enough likes for their posts. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, 100%. I could understand that because that's what you hear people talking about. I even had somebody say to me once, I didn't even realize that liking a photo was a thing, honestly, until maybe a year or so ago. And somebody said to me, "You never like any of my stuff," and I'm thinking, "What?
Yeah.
What does that even mean?"
Yeah.
And then I figured out about the like button, and now I make sure that I hit like on everything because I'm afraid people are going to get annoyed if I comment and don't like, or because some people are obsessed with this.
You know what? I completely concur because I am guilty of that a lot. I sometimes can scroll and I did not like, and it wasn't because I didn't like it, I just didn't actually hit the button. And that was like a big thing for people, and they were like, well, how come you never like any of my posts? And I'm like, what? Like, I never even realized it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't know, and I still don't do it, to be honest with you. I know it's a thing now. I still don't do it because, you know what? If I see something and it really resonates with me, and maybe it's like a meme or a message.
Right. You comment, you share.
Right.
Something like that.
That's
but you
different.
You hit the like button, and then in that person's eyes, you just diss them big time.
Right. And I didn't realize that. Oh my goodness. All right, Mary, talk to everybody for a second because my dog is now killing her bowl because she has no water. So fill everybody in on that.
On the like business?
Yeah.
Yeah, the liking thing, honestly, Karen, just like you, I had no idea about it, and I didn't know it was a thing until somebody who I thought was a good friend of mine got really upset and basically stalking me on Facebook and Instagram, knowing what I liked and what I didn't like, and if it wasn't some of her stuff, that she was angry. And I don't have time for that, honestly. I like to think that I'm up to date on all this social media stuff, but I'm not really. I use it a lot for my job. I try to post my schedule and things like that. I love looking at pictures of people's animals and babies.
Yes.
But, and some of these memes I love. They're hilarious.
Yes.
But God forbid, you get a meme that's politically oriented. It might not be, you might not agree with it, but it's still funny. But
right.
Now in today's world, you can't.
People have to lighten up.
The opinions, people really think that the opinions matter, that theirs is the only opinion. And in today's world, with this very hot political atmosphere, it's just gotten so ugly. And I think years ago, before Facebook even existed, this wouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
We just wouldn't have this kind of divide. But so many people are outspoken and safe behind their computer, they feel safe saying the things
Correct.
that they wouldn't say outside.
Correct.
No one's going to come up in the gym and call you a name because of your political affiliation. It's just not going to happen. But on Facebook, they feel very comfortable doing it. And I think that has a lot to do with the unrest of what's going on.
Yeah.
In today's world.
Well, the problem, I think, what I find too, is that everyone is just so divided. And, it's all, divide and conquer, is how, everything goes wrong in this world, right? So people have to remember that. And you never know if we're just being, I'm not going to get into government conspiracy and stuff, right? But you never know if they're just moving us into a certain position so that, they've made everybody go against one another, that, now they're going to, kick us while we're down because divided you fall.
But it's also, it's this new age of entitlement.
Right. Well,
we've never seen this before.
Well,
I've never seen it like this.
Again,
entitlements, and I deal with the public every day
right.
in the gym, and I have to be respectful these people are members at the gym. They pay money to be there. But the sense of entitlement of, I don't have to follow the rules, and things like that. It's just unbelievable what's going on.
I know.
And I really do think that social media has a big part in that. A big part in it. We need to go back to the simpler days.
Yeah, which is what?
No Facebook, no more phones. Somebody posted a meme the other day, and I wish I could find it, but my internet wasn't really working, and it said, like, my kids wanted to know what it was like growing up in the 80s, and it said, take away their internet and their phone. It was hilarious.
It's true. I said to my son had to do like a report, during school. And he says, oh my God, I got to do this report. I go, listen, when we had to do a report, we had to go to the freaking library.
Oh my God. We couldn't even look up on a computer. We had to go to a card catalog.
We had to, or what about the freaking encyclopedias?
Oh my God. Remember, if you were like rich, you had your own set.
And my father had this dictionary in the house. I swear to God, it had to be like a foot tall. And it was an actual dictionary. I think he probably still has it. And he used to say to me, here, Karen, why don't you read this? You know, I mean,
it doubled as a weapon, right, Karen?
Yeah, you know what? It couldn't even double as a weapon because you couldn't pick it up. It was that heavy. I mean, it's crazy. And it's true. And I say to him, you would have had to do research. Like, research, he hits like the Google search, and then he just picks up whatever blip is there. Like, I'm like, did you read the article? Mom, I saw what it was. I'm like, oh my God. Like, when we didn't know what a word was, right? Your parents would say something to you, and they would go, what does that mean? And they go, look it up.
Right.
Now he's like, boop, boop, Siri, what does happy mean? And I'm like, oh my God. Or now, Alexa, explain. Oh, let me not say that. She's going to talk to me now.
I know, exactly, right. Sometimes, Karen, when I'm in class and I'm talking, Siri picks it up and she's like, sorry, Mary, I can't help you with that. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, she was just talking to me just now. That was hysterical. I don't even know what the hell she just said, but that was really funny. It's true. And I mean, you have all these assistants, and look at that. We got people listening in on our life because there's somebody behind those names that are listening. Big Brother.
I know. 100%.
Big Brother.
You never know.
I'm telling you, and this is Real Talk. You are listening to Real Talk with Karen Stacy live on MiamiMikeRadio.com. My dear friend Mary is on the phone, and we are talking about social media and the effects of it. I'm actually, Mary, can you see the comments and stuff? Do we have, is anybody commenting on what we are?
So, yeah, I mean, I see a little bit of comments. So we have one guy who thinks that we're leaving him out of the conversation.
Oh, no way. Who?
Barry?
Barry?
He feels left out of the conversation.
Oh, no, everybody's part of the conversation. We just, Karen can't see. No, but I have my iPad.
Asked him, Karen, I just responded to him and asked him what he would like us to talk about, if we could bring him into it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
I'm looking at...
I'm not sure where he wants us to go, but so Barry, if you're still listening, let us know.
So, you know what? One of my girlfriends just said, my own kids have taken down and reposted a picture because of how many likes and views. Ridiculous. Yeah, see, I mean, that just, it sucks because we're looking for that validation. And if you're looking to other people for validation, you're never going to be valid.
It's scary, though, because these are young kids. These are young kids, and this is what's happening. Now you're going to start seeing, like, 11-year-olds depressed because they don't have a lot of likes on their Instagram.
Exactly.
They shouldn't even have Instagram. They're just emotionally not ready for this.
Well, again, I think that it also... I think these things should be monitored. Parents should know what's going on with their children, in my opinion. And you do have to monitor that because, look, bullying is
yeah,
huge.
I was just gonna say that. We haven't even talked about
Cyberbullying.
which is a real thing.
Yep. And people do go at it on, I mean, you know,
oh my God,
I've had it happen on my show. I mean, people go at it. And when you're, like you said earlier, when you're behind a, you know, computer, it's a heck of a lot easier to have a big mouth. But when you see somebody outside in public and you get your ass beat, you know, then it's like, you know, and I say all the time, if you block me on Facebook or you block me on your phone, then when I see you in real life, as far as I'm concerned, we're blocked, right? I mean, it's got to go. You can't, you know, what are we going to do with that? Like, you don't want to be my friend or whatever? Good, great, don't talk to me.
It's kind of hilarious, the whole blocking thing, isn't it, though?
Yeah.
It is kind of hilarious. I mean, I've had, like, people block me. It's not that serious.
No.
Okay.
Who gives a shit?
So
Don't
block me. You know, it's such a statement. It's just hilarious.
What statement are we making, though? Like, you know, I mean, and that's the whole thing.
I'm so mad at you. I'm gonna block you. Okay, block me.
Well, that's the whole thing, right? Is that if you put it out there, what goes out must come, like what goes out must come back, right? So if you put it out there, you're putting it out there and you're going to get a response back, right? So this was, you know, when I started off in the first place, and I said, you know, with, let's say, the shirtless pics or maybe something inappropriate, you know, you're putting it out there, something's going to come back. So, you know, be careful for what you wish for, because you just might get it, is what my father has always said to me. So, you know, that's how I look at things. Now, the other question that I wanted to pose too, and I wonder how you feel about this, Mary, is, you know, do we think that age, you know, has relevance? In other words, is it not appropriate for, like we were talking about how you dress, right? So is it not appropriate for, you know, a woman in her 50s, you know, to post, you know, at 50s, 60s, whatever, and to post, you know, pictures where they are provocative or she's dressed provocative? Like, is it wrong? Like, are we only allowed to do that in our 20s and 30s?
I don't know that you should do it ever. Honestly, I think some things just shouldn't be posted. They should be private. You shouldn't be posting pictures of yourself half naked and provocative positions and things like that. It's not for the public. Some things should just be between you and your partner or the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with or whatever. It shouldn't be out there for the whole world to see.
Well, you know, again, so, okay, and again, because we are talking about social media, so yes, I guess but it all goes back to the person, right? Because some people enjoy, you know, showing, I don't want to say showing off, that's not the right word. They're like, what's the word I'm looking for? You know, they enjoy, I don't know, I want to say promoting themselves, but they enjoy.
But that's what they're doing.
Okay.
They're sitting there showing off, or, you know, and these pictures, they're always going to be touched up, right?
Right.
They're not going to be real to life.
The land of filter.
Of course, the filters are there, and they're just looking for people to tell them. Again, they're looking for attention. They need attention. They need to feel relevant. So this is what they do. Because once they post up a naked picture or a partly naked picture, they're going to get attention. They are. All their friends are going to comment, and wherever they posted it, people are going to comment. They just are. And that's what they're looking for.
Yeah, attention, I guess. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I know people have said to me, you know, like, you know, oh, you know, you're going to be 50, you know, don't you think you should cut your hair? You know, and I'm like,
oh my God, that is so ridiculous.
I like long hair. I'll put extensions in until I'm like 100 if I can. I mean, like, That's what I like.
You, and you're you.
Right, but
somebody doesn't like your short hair. I mean, your long hair. Then that's on them.
But what I'm saying is that it again, it's like judging. I don't even know what the right word is, but like, okay, well, if you're 50, you're not supposed to have long hair. So who made that rule?
Right. It's somebody that looked like shit when they were 50 with long hair.
That could be it. I can't say for sure. Yeah, no, I mean, look, I have always broken most molds, and I live there. But I'm just always curious because, like I said, I think about other people. I think about my son first and foremost, and of course I think about my family. And like I said, I would never want them, to be embarrassed, by the way I presented myself. But at the same token, anybody that knows me knows how I am. And, like my father's like, just be yourself. And I'm like, there's a novel idea.
Right.
Maybe I should try that. But I think that what happens is that as we get older and we have more responsibility in our life, I feel like we do more to protect our integrity. Would that be the right thing to say? You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. Like, I think that I do things differently now. If I didn't have a child, maybe I would do more, things to that nature. I mean, like, for instance, bad example, but I'm going to use it right now. And again, I don't know if you heard, I'm dedicating tonight's show to my Joey, who's going to be, it's going to be a 5-year anniversary on Friday. And, right. I wanted to wear a red dress for his services. And everybody went nuts. And I said, but that's what my husband loved about me, was that I would wear a red dress to his funeral. And he would tell me, go ahead, Mama, wear it. And my mother-in-law flipped out. Understandable. Not that I'm faulting anybody for this, but my mother-in-law got upset. My girlfriends were like, Karen, you cannot do that. You can wear the red dress to something else, but you cannot wear it for that. It's not, and they said, what do you think your son would feel if he learned that you wore a red dress to his father's funeral? Now, my son is his father's son, and my son is like the first one to say to me, like, Mom, wear that. That looks good, or whatever. So I think he would have understood, because he understands that I'm a different human. But I didn't do it because of him. Because when somebody said to me, how does it look if someone sees you wearing a red dress to your husband's, services, how does that look? And, normally I wouldn't really care how it looked, because like I said, I could hear my husband telling me to wear that dress. But it didn't look right.
Right.
So I didn't do it because of everyone else. So I think that as we get older, we tend to think more about other people. And at least I know for myself, I try my best to, do what's quote unquote right? So, what do you think? What would do, is that like, I know that's completely off social media topic, but
well, you know what? If my kids asked me not to do something or not to wear something that they were uncomfortable with, I would probably do it. I would listen to them. I would take their opinion into account.
Exactly.
Much more before I would take anybody else's into account.
Right.
I would listen to my kids if they were upset, if they thought And listen, my kids have commented to me that they don't like something I put on Facebook, or they're embarrassed, and then I take it down, and I'm very mindful to just kind of put up now my work-related things, because I don't want to embarrass them. I will put up pictures of my dog, right, or my grandkids, things like that. But I'm very, very careful now, and my kids are older, like you know. They're adults. I don't want to embarrass them, so I do care about their opinion. But everybody else, no, not so much, right? So I wouldn't, if your son said, Mommy, I want you to wear that red dress, then you know what, Karen, I'd wear the red dress.
Well,
even if your mother-in-law was appalled, I'd be like, too bad. But it's all about, it would be all about Noah for me.
Right, you know? Of course, but...
And I think that's the way you're doing it, too.
Yeah, but, you know, at that point, you know, look, I wasn't ruffling feathers. I'm just saying that I don't always, I break the mold a lot. I've always broken the mold. It's just me. You know, but I think that as we get older and we have more responsibility, and I think that image is a big thing. So, you know, you have to keep that in mind, and you know, image is huge, and if you don't represent yourself correctly, then you're going to get certain backlashes. And again, sometimes you don't think about what can come back at you.
Right.
So, you know, and that's the whole thing, is that's what I think about is, oh crap, you know, like if, you know, so you post a picture, you post whatever, and you know, how does that look? Like, you know, in 15 years, like if my kid sees a picture, or my mother-in-law sees a picture of me, I don't want her to think I'm, you know, doing something I shouldn't be doing.
Right, exactly.
You know, so you have to be cognitive of the messages that you're sending out, which is, again, really, I think my message today is that, you know, there are a lot of people that put out one message, they put out a message, and then they don't even realize the message that they're putting out.
Oh, I think you're 100% right.
And that's the issue, is that, like, if I posted something, you know, I know what I'm putting out there. And when I posted that thing that I made, meme, whatever, and I said, should a man, you know, should a man post a shirtless pic? Should a woman post a bikini pic? And I had the words over. I actually had a I had a bathing suit on, and I put the words over any, you know, my boobs and my waist, and you just see like my skin, a little bit of skin from my stomach and skin from my legs. And one of the guys said, move those words, you know, I want to see that. And, you know, I started laughing because I was poking fun, because I wanted to see what people thought about it. I'm curious, but you know what? Like you said, I mean, look, men are very visual. So if they see a woman and she's got a nice body and she's attractive, who the hell doesn't want to look at that, right?
Right. You
said in the beginning of the conversation, when I said, well, how do you feel about men with shirtless pics? And you said, well, what do they look like?
Right, exactly. It works both ways.
Right. Well, exactly. And you guys are listening to Real Talk with Karen Stacy, live on MiamiMikeRadio.com. And on the phone is my dear friend Mary, who is my fitness instructor. And we are just talking about social media and the messages that our posts send out. So here's another one that I come across, right? You're scrolling, and there's a guy that I see on there that always posts about dating and how all women are nuts. Everybody that he meets is hung up on their ex, and that you know, and it's like a huge couple of paragraphs of this, and it's more than not. So what I'm curious about is, if you are scrolling, and Mary, like, give me your thoughts on this. If you're scrolling, like right now I'm explaining this to you. So as I'm explaining it to you, what is your thought on why is this guy posting this? What comes across to you with a post like that?
That he's posting about his dating life?
Well, the posts are like, yeah, I can't, if, there's no, this is, you see this a lot. There's no, all women are crazy. There's no normal women out there. They're all hung up on their ex. They all have issues, yada, yada. So when you post something like that and go into chapter and verse about it, what message do you think that you're putting out there into Facebook land?
I think that, well, he's frustrated. Clearly, he's having a lot of bad dates.
Okay. But what else?
He's definitely trying to get a response from women, I think, that to say to him that's not true.
Well, I mean, to me, it's anger. I mean, I understand the frustration part, and the frustration part is over in the first sentence. If you want to portray that, and, then, but it's, to me, it's beyond that, because if you if you're going on and on about this, who is the one that really has the issues?
Right. Oh, clearly it's him.
So that's what I'm trying to say. So a lot of times I feel like I see people post things on social media that I don't know these people I'm not speaking, I mean, this is just, I have, thousands of friends because of the show. So it's not, necessarily a friend of mine that I could physically speak to. Or, I mean, I guess I could, but I'm just saying, what is it that you think you're getting across? If you post something in chapter and verse, like 100 times about how crazy women are, how, they're all hung up on their exes. There are no normal women out there. So we know that that's not true. I mean, we know that's not true. Not all women are crazy. Not all women are hung up on their exes. There are a ton of good women out there in the world, and they're trying just as hard to find a good guy. So when you post things like that, to me, what is the message there? The message is that you are hung up on something too, because again, I talk a lot about the power of the universe, right? Law of attraction. Yeah. So what are you putting out there that you're attracting these type of women to you?
Yeah, clearly it's, I mean, if every single woman that you're dating is hung up on her ex, and it's definitely something with him. But if he's that angry and he's posting it all over Facebook, you can see that anger is probably carrying through his life.
Well, that's the part that I don't get, is that, like you said earlier, frustration, and I get that. And I think all of us are frustrated for one reason or another. We're all frustrated because, it happens. But right. Everybody is not the same. And I say it to my kid, I say it to myself. You always have to take accountability for your role in right. things. So if every single person that you're dating ends up being hung up on their ex or whatever, I don't know what it is that you're putting out into the universe. But maybe, they're not. And then some of the details in the chapter and verse is, if you're not ready to date, you shouldn't be dating. So, I agree with that. I think people should do the work before they start dating. But, if I'm looking at that and I'm reading it, and this is, like I said, this happens often. And it's quite interesting because they take no accountability. So if it was me and I kept meeting guys that talked about their ex all the time, I would be like, all right, what am I doing that all they're doing is talking about their ex? And don't get me wrong, a lot of people are dating too soon and they're talking about their ex because they're still hung up on them. And that's men and women. I mean, I've met people, I've been on the phone with them, and I said I can never get that, that half hour of my life back. Because right. they just went off for, a half an hour on.
But it's a platform for this guy to get out there. Imagine how frustrated and angry that he has to come home and put it up on Facebook.
Exactly my point.
Yeah, like, I mean, how many times can we go through the day and something happens that just sends us over the edge?
Yep.
And then you think to yourself, like, oh, I'm going to post this up for the world to see and validate me as a human being that person was an a-hole or something like that, right?
Right.
You come home and you're like, oh, I'm so angry, I'm just going to post it. Because now you have a platform and people are going to feed you what you want to hear.
Right.
You know, I did that once, actually, with the handicaps.
I remember.
Which drives me crazy. And I posted it.
Tell the story, though, Matt. Tell the story. Tell the story.
So I was sitting... Well, I was with you.
I know, but I know the story, but the listeners want to hear the story.
With you, I was with.
Yes, you were with me, of course. All good stories. Nothing good comes of, well, I was sitting with Karen.
We were sitting outside. We were sitting outside of the gym.
Yep.
And there's only 3 handicap spots in the front of the gym. And we have some people that go to the gym that are really in need of those spots. And there was a woman that pulled up in her big Ford F-250 pickup truck. And she pulled a handicap sticker out of her glove compartment and hung it on her mirror, got out with her daughter and her friend, and started to walk into the gym. And I said, you really shouldn't park there. There are people that need that spot a lot more than you do. And she was very agitated and angry with me, said that her daughter was getting surgery or whatever. But after Karen left me...
Wait a minute, and she cursed you... Wait, Mary, I don't want to interrupt you, but she also told you to mind your business and cursed you.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
She was nasty.
She called me a bitch.
She was nasty. I think she might have even used the F word. I don't remember.
She did use the F word. And then Karen, remember? So then she went downstairs to the gym with her friend and her daughter.
Right.
And then... How many times did she come up to look at us, Karen? Because she was afraid I was going to call the police.
Right.
Which is what I wanted to do. I was looking around for police to tell them she had this handicap sticker that she didn't need.
Right, and she lied and said her daughter was having surgery when she went down to the gym with her.
Right, and they were all in the gym.
Right.
And then I was so agitated and annoyed that I posted it on Facebook.
Yep.
And boy, did I get responses, right?
Yeah.
Because I got some responses that were protecting this woman.
Yes.
Saying, you don't know what her handicap is. And I said, I know that if she's running on a treadmill at a 6.0, she can walk an extra 10 feet into the gym. She doesn't, people were telling me, oh, some handicaps are invisible. And,
yep.
But Facebook was my platform. And I wanted a response. I wanted everybody to be as angry as I was about that situation.
Yep.
And that's probably what this guy is doing. He's so affected that he comes home, he gets on Facebook, he creates his platform, and now he waits for his posse to come and protect him. You're right. All women are jerks.
Yep.
They don't care.
I just went through...
None of them are good enough for us.
I just went through the same thing. Like, oh, yeah, bro, I was on a date, the other day, and I had the same shit happen to me.
Right. So people started validating him, and that's what we want. We want to be validated. I was so angry that day. I wanted everybody to say, you're right.
Yeah.
I wanted to get, the Frankenstein crowd. Let's get the monster.
Well, no, and you know what? In your defense, though, Mary, that's not really true. You were angry and wanted to take action. What you wanted was for her to not park in a handicapped parking spot. So you weren't just trying to get validation like I'm right. You were trying to correct something that was wrong because there are a few handicapped people that come to the gym and it is too difficult for them to have to walk so far because the parking is not convenient. So you weren't doing that because you wanted everybody to tell you were right. You were actually doing it because you wanted to see what recourse you could get. You wanted to call the police. Like, you wanted that car moved because you were fighting for the handicapped people. So that's a little different than wanting to be validated. You didn't want to be right because you needed to be right. You wanted to be right because it's a pet peeve of yours that people that aren't handicapped take advantage of that. So I think that's different. To me, that's a real motivation. I mean, it's like
that's a little more of a cause.
Right. And like, that's how I feel. I mean, right now people could say we're spending the past hour and change talking about other people too. That's not really what we're doing. I'm just trying to I always just try to bring awareness to things where now we look at things.
I think sometimes people don't think about what they're posting. I think they just post it in the heat of the moment because it's there and it's easy to do in the moment.
Yep.
Right? I don't get it, honestly. I don't understand the people that post their whole life on Facebook. Some part of me feels sad for them.
Yeah.
I don't want people to know about my personal life. Honestly, I put out what I want people to know, and that's it.
Well, that's the part that people miss, because people look at a story and they think the story is written a certain way. And the reason why they think that story is written a certain way is because that was what was presented to you. So the truth of the matter is that most people want to hear about, unicorns and sunshine. People don't want to know, in the beginning of the show, maybe people didn't want to know that I was dedicating this show to my husband, that it's gonna be the 5-year anniversary of his death. People don't want to think about that because it sucks. So, sometimes, and you and I, when you were on my show, one of the last times you were on my show, we both have mothers that are, suffering from dementia, and we started to talk about it. And on our Facebook Live, the numbers went like they cut in half the minute we started talking about it. We had certain people that were on with us because they knew that, and they were experiencing the same thing, because we were not complaining, but stating how terrible the care is and such. And, people chimed in on that. But people don't want to hear, that what we deal with, because guess what? It sucks. We don't want to hear it. You and I don't even want to talk about it, right? So, that's the whole thing. So you have to paint you do paint a certain picture, and people don't want to hear that picture sometimes, or see that picture sometimes, and so, you have to leave those things out because sometimes they're just too painful. Every once in a while, I know you post things about your mom or about dementia. You don't do it a lot, and most of your posts that you do post are as uplifting as they can be in this tragic, arena we call life. And I try to do the same thing. I mean, I did talk a lot about, sorry, we got killer dog here. I do talk a lot, I do talk a lot about, sorry, I was just invaded by my child.
I know.
I do talk a lot about, I do talk about things that most people don't want to talk about. And I have had people, I did post things after I lost my husband. I did post certain things because I was in pain, and I don't know what it did for me, but I always tried for them to be some positivity to them. And believe it or not, I had a lot of people that messaged me privately and wrote beautiful things, telling me that I was an inspiration to them, telling me that every time they were ready to give up, they thought about me, and it made them fight that much harder. So, if there's, which I was very humbled by. So, my feeling is that if you share certain things and they truly are from your heart and from your soul, and they can help someone else and empower them, then I think you should share those things. But
well, I'll tell you, Karen, when I lost two very, very important people to me. One was my very best friend, and when he died, social media wasn't really around. I don't remember it really being around. and my father. And I will tell you that when my father died, I did put it up on Facebook, and people wrote the nicest things, and there was some comfort in that.
Yes.
And I did read all of those things, and the people, even people, honestly, that just know me from the gym, that just take my classes and don't really know me outside of that forum,
Yep.
showed up at the services.
It's beautiful.
And really beautiful. Like, it warms my heart.
Right.
Because, and in those times of such loss for us, for you, for me, that feeling is wonderful.
Yes.
You love that feeling, and in that respect, social media, right, comes around, and you're reaching out to all these people. The gym wouldn't put up my father's, services and things like that. People wouldn't even know.
Right.
But because they follow me on Facebook and they know, they saw, they showed up, they hugged me, they cared, and that was such a comfort.
Yes. Absolutely. And that's what I mean is that, as we were talking about, social media is amazing for tools like that, right? Because
right.
It connects people. And even like on Friday, I do a ceremony for my husband. He always wanted a Viking funeral, which is when they put you out into the water at sea and they
right.
light you up. That's so obviously we didn't give him that because his mother wanted, him properly, cremated and all of that. But we saved some of his ashes. One of my dear friends, her husband made a boat. Like, it was like a model boat, if you will. And we put in it, he liked to play cards. So we put the cards in. They got the chips, like poker chips. They put the poker chips in. And I had ashes put into that as well, so that I was able to give him his Viking funeral because that was what he wanted. And I wore a red dress, just, to top it all off. So that water where we are is like sacred to me because I feel like that was where I sent him to rest in peace because that was what he wanted. So every year, on the anniversary, we do flowers, we say a prayer, we play Paradise City, and we say a prayer and we throw the flowers into the water. Now, I don't know, there are people that may or may not want to pay respects. There are people that may or may not want to support myself and my child and my family. So I put it out there on Facebook. And I didn't put it out there for people to say I'm sorry because I don't need sympathy. I appreciate compassion, don't get me wrong, but I didn't put it out there to make somebody feel bad for me. I didn't put it out there to, guilt anybody. I put it out there because I want to give people the opportunity, if they want to pay respects, that they can, and they can share that moment with us. So in that case, with social media, I think that it does do a lot. It can bring people together. Just like you said, in the passing of your father, when people come around you like that, look at your birthday, right? You get 700 happy birthdays. Some of us don't have a lot of people in our lives. So getting 700 happy birthdays and your phone blowing up and all of that, it does make you feel good. I mean,
yes, it does.
And people are being genuine. It's not like they're wishing you a happy birthday and they don't mean it. So in that respect, I think that, it does have its pros. But obviously, with all the other things and the psychological aspects of it, is definitely a tricky thing.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I also think that it also brings so much to the table in the sense of, like I said, the gentleman that I was talking about, that, all women are crazy. And there are people that would comment on there and, they don't even realize, I don't think, that they're all part of it. Oh, yeah, there are no good women. Wait a minute. There are good women. How about you be a man and ask a woman out? Instead of just sending somebody a message, I've had people very flattering. Oh, I'd love to take you for a drink. Oh, okay, well, thank you. And then they go, okay, well, let me know. I should let you know?
Right.
If you're inviting me for a drink, then ask me what day is good for me. Ask me what time is good for me. Ask me where is good for me. And be a man and orchestrate it.
Right.
Am I supposed to say, okay, you invited me, so now I should... Somebody says, oh, yeah, well, you should come and meet me. I know, you enjoy this. You should come meet me. I'm there all the time. How about orchestrating that? So these men that are sitting there talking about how there are no good women, maybe you're not addressing a good woman correctly, and that's why you're not getting the end result that you want.
Right, exactly.
Could that be an issue? Or do we want to just post the blame on everybody else?
Right, but that's an issue they don't want to deal with.
I know. Well, that's what I'm trying to say, though.
It's very hard for people to think that it's them.
Exactly. And that's, again, going back to what I said. You have to take accountability for your actions. If you post something or you say something that isn't appropriate and you get feedback from it, you got to deal with the repercussions. So
Absolutely
think,
right.
Look, and I'm the worst. My mouth gets me in trouble all the time. So, but especially words, because once it's out there and it's typed, you can't take it back. How many times have you texted somebody and then sent it and go, damn, did I just say that? Like, shit, I didn't mean to use that word, or I shouldn't have said that, or I should... you just jump and you react initially, and then you're like, son of a bitch, did I just type that? Like, damn it. And you wish there was an unsend button so it could come back so you could rewrite it to make it.
You really do need like a 5-minute window.
You should.
Delete.
You got a grace period. Yeah, there should be like a 5-minute, delay. Exactly. Except that would be annoying if you're, interacting in a conversation. But you're right. There's going to probably be an unsend button one of these days, but it would just be a matter, I guess, of how quickly they see it.
Yeah, exactly. They need to. We definitely need an unsend.
Yeah. Some people need a filter. Some people need an app that you have to do a breathalyzer before you're allowed to touch your phone. You got to do a breathalyzer.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you of sound mind, body, and soul prior to texting this person or posting on Facebook? Your phone should have an automatic...
How many relationships would be saved with that button?
Your phone should have an automatic lock.
Right. You can't unlock it.
That's so funny. Well, is there any... So, Mary, I love you. Thank you so much for, calling in. You knew I was having a rough day today, and you came to my rescue, as you always do.
Anytime, Karen. It's always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure with me as well. And this is Mary, who has been on my show a number of times. She is my fitness instructor. We've been talking about social media and the effects that, it has on us as a society. And also, I think that people should reflect a little bit. And again, I keep saying it over and over again. But, check out your message. Maybe you're sending the world... Yeah, maybe you're sending the world the wrong message. Maybe you really don't... You're not that person, but you're sending out. And don't perpetrate the fraud, If you got a shitty marriage, don't post on there that you got, flowers from your husband and everybody, you think everybody's going to be excited about it when, it's a perpetrating the fraud. So, I don't know. I just think that people should live in their own skin. That's what I think. Would you?
Right. I agree, Karen.
Your filter-free skin.
That's right.
They should live in their own...
all your imperfections.
In their own filter-free skin. That's where you should live. And yes, and you should love your imperfections. And there's a meme that says that on something, right? You got to find somebody that doesn't... it's something to the effect of, you don't want to find the perfect person. You just want to find a person that loves your imperfections or something to that degree.
Yeah.
And
some of these memes are so great.
Some of them are really, they resonate. I mean, I could probably do an entire show just reading the memes and commenting from that point forward. And to be honest with you, I've read some of them, and they have actually given me the thoughts of where to go with the show, because I find it so interesting. Have you seen any of the comments that is there anything that we need to respond to, Mary?
So I'm trying to like look at the comments, but for some reason they don't come in real time, Karen.
I know. There's a 5-minute delay now.
Yeah,
you asked for it.
Like, let's see. Jennifer Lynn said, "Take my phone away."
Yeah, I see them. Yeah, you got to go up. I know, Jen, you're a trip. And listen, guys, I appreciate you guys on the feed and chiming in. Again, I don't know what's going on. I was at the eye doctor. They changed my thing. I don't know what I'm doing here. And, also, I have to tell you that I know on a lot of the shows, we have DJs and, they're able, while the music is playing, they're able to read through the feed, to do shout outs to you guys. Please don't ever think I don't appreciate you watching, commenting. It's truly just that when I am talking, sometimes I can't go back. I can't read and talk at the same time because I get, I lose my train of thought. So this is a live show, and I'm doing it live. So, when I read and think and talk, I get screwed up. And especially if I have somebody that I'm talking to, I want to give them my undivided attention as well. So I just want to say thank you to everybody in Facebook land, everybody on Miami Mike Radio that's tuned in tonight, for listening, and spending this Tuesday with me along with Mary. And again, just, trying to make you guys realize if you have younger kids and, and such, you got to really monitor the social media going on out there. People are being bullied. People are being intimidated. People are being attacked. People are becoming insecure because they don't think they're liked enough.
Right.
Just know the message that you're sending out, and if you're gonna, post yourself half naked on social media, more power to you. If you look good and you feel good, then that's awesome. But
we need to do a social media cleanse, Karen.
Social media cleanse.
People need to just turn it off for a little while.
Wait, but they need to do a social media cleanse, and they'll video it. They'll video it and post it.
Try taking a few hours off away from your phone. Leave it home.
It'll be like that show, Naked and Afraid.
It's so liberating when you forget your phone and you're out and you just don't have anybody bothering you. You can really enjoy the world around you.
It's true. I'm telling you, it'll be like Naked and Afraid.
It's no kidding, right? That's it. Karen, that's what we have to do. We have to have like a no phone day. We have to make a day where everybody leaves their phone home.
But how will we document it?
I don't know.
How will we?
Home to get to it.
How will we document? We'll have to have somebody film it.
Somebody has to film it.
That's funny shit. Well, listen, I want to say thank you. I'm gonna I can't wait to see you again soon.
I know, coffee talk happening soon.
Coffee talk, yeah, we should do a live on that one. That'll scare people.
We could do a live on Coffee Talk, Karen.
Coffee Talk Karen. There we go.
Anything goes in Starbucks.
And Starbucks. Yes, and that's not politically correct either, right? We can't name where we get our coffee, right?
Well, it's the closest to the gym, but we could sit there and just talk about everybody.
Talk amongst yourselves. Well, I love you, and I thank you for your time tonight and getting the kiddies to bed. And we will talk soon.
All right, honey, I love you.
Love you, baby girl. Bye. That was awesome, and I thank Mary so much. She saved the day. I was really having a hard day today, and my son actually told me, Mom, you need to do the show. So I think he is hiding in the bathroom so he can listen to the show right now, and he thinks I don't know he's in there listening. So anyway, You guys have been listening to Real Talk with Karen Stacy live on MiamiMikeRadio.com. This evening, I dedicate the show to my beloved late husband, Joseph, who was tragically taken from us. He had a massive heart attack, and it's going to be 5 years on Friday. And it's a very difficult time for myself and my family. And I was very hesitant to do the show tonight because I am not quite myself. It's a tough week. But I pushed through because I feel that I owe it to you guys. And next week I have Beth Acasello on, and we're going to talk about a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And Beth is a trip. The following week I have Terry Murata, I think is her last name. Let me get her name correctly, because it's terrible that I don't have it. I'm really bad with names, so for anybody that, please never be insulted, because I am so bad with names. I said it right, Murata. Terry Murata. She is a medium, and I think she's going to do a reading for me, which I think my late husband has a lot to say to me, so I guess I'm going to find that out. So she wrote a book, and she's going to talk about a book, and, you're going to learn about that. I'm going to ask her every question I possibly can. And then I think, like I said, I may end up taking a little vacay, for the end of August, so I can hang with my kid before he goes back to school. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. Remember that we have a lot of wonderful shows on Miami Mike Radio. And on Mondays, we have DJ Luke at 1 p.m., and then we have Paulie, a.k.a. I'll be all right, the Portuguese Prince, at 6 p.m. The first Monday of every month is Rob Machetta, Mind Candy Mondays. And then Tuesdays is Steve, DJ Simply Nice, at 1. And then, of course, Real Talk with Karen Stacy at 8 p.m. Wednesdays is the Loyal Listener Show with Hamilton Czar and Maymay. Thursdays, we have Michael Anthony with the Traffic Jam at 4 p.m. and Frankie Maggs at 8 p.m. Fridays, we have DJ Simply Nice again at 8, and then Friday Night Sessions with Tony Sinapi at 10 p.m. And then Saturdays, we have the Ghazi Show at 8 p.m. And then the Saturday Night Dance Party with Anthony Mangini at 10 p.m. And Sundays, we have Anthony Grimaldi. There is also, the guys are in town, to my understanding. Thursday night, they will be at Gigante. And Saturday night, I know there is the cruise. It's August 3rd. So please go on MiamiMikeRadio.com. And if you want to get more information, it's all posted. It was supposedly a great, I saw a video of the music and everything from the last one, and the music was just off the hook. So if you can make it out, hopefully, this weekend I've been laying low. I'm hanging with my son, but you guys go and have fun. And I love you all. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed tonight's show, please feel free to share the video. Much love to you guys, and I'll see you next week. Ciao.